Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I make for you as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have a track by an act named Cody Lee titled, the song is I Love You, words and music by Hibiki Takahashi and arranged by Cody Lee. So we're going to listen through this track from start till finish. We do also have lyrics. We do have subtitles as well. So if I get the hang of the song through the subtitles, I won't need the lyrics, but we'll check just if I'm kind of lost, we'll see how we go, okay? Anyways, we're going to listen through this track from start till finish and hear what we think. Let's go. I love the clarity of those guitars alongside the drums and the cymbal shimmers. It's got a kind of 70s feel to it, kind of disco vibe. Psychedelic as heck, man. Oh, the bass. Those mutes on it, rolling in that line there. Funky as hell, man. Nice use of repeats after those main vocals. Nice synth development here. I think those might be some modulated guitars actually on that right side there. Cool choice. Okay, so I like how things came down dynamically and energy-wise in that verse section there. It had a lot of expanse to it, which was counter to some of the sort of more intense strumming that we had in the intro part. Of course, here with these kind of really sort of those vibrato oscillating synths here that kind of wiggle around, like a bit of phaser or something going on here. That's kind of wild. But I'm liking that the accompaniment, the main motif, can stand on its own without the vocal backing. Going up in that octave there is a charming choice. It's nice to get the different perspective of someone else. Really comfortable performance on those vocals, you know, like great vocal technique there. I'm liking the kind of fluidity of those portamento synths going into the high range alongside the occasional falsetto we have from the main vocalist. The guitars with those funky bar chords or dominant seventh or extensions there alongside the rolling bass line, it's just, there's a lot to appreciate here. Talking about all those locations and one across the ocean with you, that's kind of romantic, isn't it? Those semitonal shifts in that chord progression, they were absolutely stunning. And it's that kind of AAB structure we have to a lot of these choruses here. It's just a masterclass in how to keep a hook engaging. Can't waste any more time on my part-time job. Damn, dude. Tell me how you really feel. Oh, okay, we got a pitch shifter on that guitar, alright. Oh, snap, dude. That was a great phrasing there. It was a nice replacement for the vocals. At the same time, I feel as if it had its own unique sort of taste there. We didn't really explore the fretboard too much. I think more of the aspect of it, more of the interest was on the tone of the guitar, how it kind of went between the octaves with that modulation, not through that pedal, but also just rolling around those pentatonic shapes. It was just charming, dude. Having these... Oh. Those vocals are pristine, dude. Absolutely charming. You do get the kind of disco vibe of the 70s and 80s, plus the love song interest, you know what I mean? People are ready to party and shake it down, dude. There is an additional lead line in this part of the chorus, which I enjoy. I don't know if that was there before, but my brain is telling me it wasn't. I could be wrong, so let me know if I am in the comments. But, you know, you just get this wonderful charm to it because of that additional instrumental layer there. It sounds a bit fuller, but it also isn't overwhelming what we had already. Great natural progression there. Those tom fills or those snare fills are so subtle yet so effective. By the way as well, I don't really talk about this that much in the videos, but this video, you know, this music video that we're watching is absolutely charming. I love the outfits. I love the lights and the fashion and the set pieces and everything like that. I think the visual production on this is absolutely exquisite. And I feel like this is one of those music videos where it does actually benefit you to have the complete audio visual experience. For sure. I kind of adore this because it shows someone who's new to this band that they can play this stuff live. Wonderful. And the wonderful gong at the end that we had there as a centerpiece. Exquisite. We are going to have a look through the lyrics just so I get the whole context, but I just want to make it clear that I've had a great time with this track so far, and I'd be keen to hear more from this wonderful musician or these wonderful group of musicians. So they've actually got the Japanese lyrics, and then they've also got English, which, wo ai ni, I love you. I like the fact that they have the English, so thank you very much for that. I don't speak Japanese well at all, so it's good to have this extra version of it. It was good to have that in the subtitles too. I mean, I read most of this, but I got distracted by some parts of the instrument performance or something like that. So again, that's why it's good to have lyrics time, you know? Seeing the crowd in the city from the platform, the train passes by in a blink of an eye. Okay. So I think this is about someone who's slowly growing closer to another, and they're talking about like that brief interaction as what's kind of propelled them to do something more than that. You know, they want to have a life with them and go, you know, looking like a mirror ball. They don't need to go everywhere, you know, like they just want to they just want to have like a future with them. I want to hold you in my arms tonight. Don't care about the hype anymore. They don't care about anything more than simply that connection with them. They just want to have that connection there. The heart going dum 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 dum. I love it. Heart going in rhythm to those kicks, eh? Excellent story. And this is my conclusion on my SP Patrons review of Cody Lee's Wo Ai Ni, I Love You, words and music by Hibiki Takahashi. What do I think this track is about? Well, we've talked about that in the lyrics. I think it's about a person who's fallen in love with another and has realized that they want to go traveling with them and explore the world with them. Even if it's like a big or a small journey, they just want to have an adventure with them, a future, and they don't want to overcomplicate things. They just want it to be nice and simple and caring and all those good things. And I think that it's a wonderful story to tell. I think a lot of people are going to relate to it. They're going to probably want the same thing. So there's definitely an audience for it. And I think that it was told in a really interesting way. It wasn't cheesy or anything like that. The lyrics were expressive. You know, like images. Oh, hang on a minute. I've just realized I don't actually have the background of the video on this. Here we go. We've got a background now with the whole entire band in there and me in the center. Nice. Awesome. Again, I love that music video. It's absolutely incredible. But yeah, I was talking about the story. I think, you know, that it was wonderful how they expressed themselves. The lyrics were easy to follow. The smell of coffee and everything like that. Imagining all these places you could go, all those cities and even the ones like locally. It's just, it almost it makes me all warm and fuzzy, you know, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy. So I think that's a powerful feeling from the lyrics alone. Cody Lee's vocals were tremendous. I think that it was nice to have the male and female vocalist there. They had clearly different vocal timbres and tones and vocal ranges, and it was very clearly and easy to distinguish who was who. Both had fantastic vocal technique there, were very accurate with their note placement there, never struggled to go up and down their scale ranges, and I think especially with some of those chromatic shifts in the chorus, it was just so well handled. They're incredible singers. And I think that, again, it was nice for them to take turns between the verses of different perspectives. I think that was wonderful, like kind of particularly the man versus the woman, you know. And all in all, man, I just don't think we could have asked for anything more from this. It was a relatively confident performance where we didn't give too much away emotionally, but I think if we had been too sort of like, you know, if we'd put too much into it emotionally, that would overdone the feelings of love, then that would have made it seem sort of disingenuous or inauthentic. So I'm glad that they kept a relatively calm and conscious and clear demeanor to it. They wanted to tell the story in the best way they could using the best vocal technique they had, and they nailed it from both, you know. And there was a sense of innocence there that I got though at the same time, which kind of makes you it's kind of adorable. The story is adorable when put with the style of vocals they were doing. There was no vocal fry, any harshness in the performance from either side. It was wonderful. It was, again, it reminded me of some of the disco pop kind of funk vibes from the 70s and 80s. I'm glad that this is still going strong in music today. There was a wonderful taste to that, but they managed to also make it their own. The track itself, of course, is like 4.5 minutes, nearly 5 minutes, but there was absolutely no filler in it. There were various instrumental sections alongside the verses and choruses and the little interlude that we had near the end as well. I think that it was well panned out and well spaced out. We never had too much of one thing. If there were transitions, whether they were guitar lines or sort of tom fills or drum fills or anything like that they were handled magnificently. There were changes in the intensity of the performance as well, like would go down a little bit in the choruses, or in the verses, and build up for the choruses. We had different sort of synths and guitar and bass and drum parts, as well as these other vocal lines, and it's so full sounding, and maybe a little bit of foley with some sort of like rattles in that interlude section. It was utterly incredible. There was really clear attention to detail. They knew the style of music they wanted, the era that they wanted, and it was very true to form. And I think that a lot of people who are into this kind of music that may not be even familiar with the language, would still nonetheless appreciate what they're trying to go for here. Of course, they are actually playing their instruments, and not that I'm being elitist or, you know, gatekeeping music being good just because you play the instruments. You know, don't get me wrong, there's lots of really good sampled sort of beats made, not where you don't actually have to play the drum kit or whatever. But what I'm trying to sort of communicate is that it sounded like they were playing together as a band. It was very organic performance with lots of chemistry there. The parts they were playing varied over time. The bass guitar was wonderful in the low end and played those root notes, but it also had a bit of funkiness to it, some mutes occasionally moving around that fretboard. We had the guitars with those bar chorded kind of clean sort of like rhythm parts. But then, of course, we had the lead parts where they kind of access their mid-range there and kind of really sort of sung themselves their own song to coincide and harmonize with the vocalist or have their own moment in that dedicated solo section. I think that the drums were wonderful, the 16th note grooves they had on the hi-hat alongside the tom fills and snare fills they had. And just when they came down, there were wonderful ghost notes or pianissimo going on with those hi-hat sections. It was sensational. There was a lot to appreciate on behalf of this act. They're clearly really confident musicians, and when you couple that with a really proficient vocalists and a story that works well, that's kind of the triple threat. The only thing we're really missing there is the production, recording, mixing, and mastering, which in this instance was thoroughly splendid. I liked the fact that it had that warmth. It sounded if it was recorded in an analog disc back in the 70s. There was a crispness and a kind of really lovely texture and tone and coloration to the vocals. I'm not sure which microphone they used for both of them, but there was the right one. They showed their sort of like angles really, really well, wonderfully filtered and EQ'd. Alongside those guitars guitars that were double tracked on the far sides of the stereo field to make room for the bass in the center. That was wonderfully EQ'd and compressed to work well with the drums. They were going alongside of keeping the groove and also keeping doing fill transitions whenever needed to. The vocals sat on top of it, had a great presence. There was never a point where there was any weird resonant frequencies in the mix. It was nice and wide in the stereo field, so there was lots of stuff going around the place, especially those synths, which would filter to like 150 to 200 hertz, and they just slid on the sides, and they were never on the same side. They were either maybe on one side or the other, but it made it interesting from like a listener's perspective because it was unpredictable. But it was never enough to make the song feel weird or like discordant. There was never anything that sort of took away from the smoothness and the groove and the vibe of it. And especially even when those like lead guitars came in on the left side there, which was kind of like imbalanced, like if you think about needing the guitars to be recorded on both sides a lot of the times, it was still engineered in a way where like it was never too much. It was almost like you were happy it was there and you wanted more to come in. And if a song is encouraging you to want more, then you're already sucked into it. I think that there was lots of dynamic range in there, so that was fantastic as well. The song didn't feel crushed in the limiting bus or the master bus. The levels of the various tracks in the mix were utterly sensational, commercial grade, and the limiting compression was phenomenal, nice and loud without pumping. Ultimately, with a bit of side chaining from the kick, but that's what you want in this type of genre. You want it boom, boom, boom. That's what you want. Side chaining is fine if it's not overdone. This is my SP Patrons video, my review of Cody Lee's I Love You. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next SP Patrons video. Spiderhands out.